Yeah, hello. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Particularly waiting for all of you guys to join. Okay. So my name is Nitish. Currently leading particularly consultant team at Geeks for Geeks. So today's session it will be most awaiting if I say as per the demand changing data science domain, and we have been waiting for around 2 to 3 weeks till this time for our data science. If I say the modifications, we have made it so many things, and we have the lead instructor with us, Arpit Jain. So he will be going to start the session with some amazing ideas. So whatsoever the doubts you have, if you have any kind of question, something, just try to make sure the next 1.5 hour sessions or particularly 2 hour session will be the more exciting for you. And I will be, coming back particularly at 7:30 to give you more insights related to there are more surprises for you all, which is in the pipeline. And I'm sure I got around 100 of mails and particularly on message what exactly the codes or why exactly you have guys geeks for geeks waiting for this. So what exactly we are coming up with the plan, we'll share that after some time, but till that time just make sure that you enjoy or you get the maximum ROI for the session. Okay, yeah, over to you, Arpit. Please guide the students accordingly in session, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Nitish. Thank you so much for introducing. So, hello everybody. My name is Arpit Jain. So, I will be the one taking you through the next couple of hours and giving you the brief of how data science industry should look like and what are the prime requisites. So, what we should take care of. And yes, I'll be sharing with the topics which I'll be going through today. And so, brief agenda. Okay. So I hope I'm pretty much loud and clear to everybody. Can I get some few yeses in the chat if I'm pretty much audible and visible to everybody to avoid any last moment issues? Hey Vikas, hey Shanu. Right, so looks like we're pretty much good to go. Great. So what I'll do is I'll quickly introduce myself. I'll talk about what I have done and then a brief intro so that, and if anybody is having any of their own point of views, please let me know and I'm okay to talk about that. So my name is Arpit Jain and I'm a lead data scientist myself with over 10 years of industrial experience in analytics into multiple domains. So I started my work in a finance sector, then I moved into automobile, then I was part of a cloud domain, manufacturing, and for the past 5 years I'm in telecommunications. So I've kind of been working in different domains, and that's the beauty of being into data science, to be honest, because it opens up like n number of opportunities for you. Your pure work will be on data, and data is everywhere, you know that, right? So basically you can work in any field. Yes, with certain bit of experience it becomes kind of a priority or comfort level that you gain with some of the other platform, but still you are pretty much okay to work in any field. And along with that, I'm also a motivational speaker. So I'm a public speaker. I take mentorship sessions. I talk to students regarding their placements, careers, jobs. So anything in general, also during the course, if you have any specific questions, please feel free to type in your chat. So I might not be able to, take all the questions, but obviously I'll try to take whatsoever comes in my way, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. So that's a brief intro about myself. So I'll quickly share my screen and talk about the today's agenda. What are we planning to cover, right? So just give me a minute. So yeah, I hope my screen is visible to you. Just give me a yes if my screen is visible. So that is basically what going to be our 2 days workshop, which we're going to talk about this part. So we will be giving you an orientation towards what all tools and technique you are supposed to be focused on, because in data science, you might have heard of multiple such tools like multiple jargons, Python, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Big Data, Hadoop, Hive, Cloud, AWS, microservices, Docker, containers. Oh my God, I'll faint, right? There's so many things, and we are not superhumans. We obviously cannot learn everything at the same point of time. We are not superhumans, right? So obviously there is some prioritization. We have to make sure that what is those priority list and where we are supposed to start. So So, and then I'll give you a brief on what are those mandatory skills which you're supposed to be working on and the additional parts as well. And then in this course, also in this 2 days workshop, we'll be going through a live project. So we have a tailored made a data set from Mintra.com, which is very good data sets. And we'll be showing you around how we can stack with the data, basic analysis, and then eventually, some sort of a treatment on top of that and building up the model. So one live project solving will be there in this, right? And then obviously, as Nitish was also saying, so we do have some prizes. It will be part of our pretty much content. So please stay tuned. So we'll have surprises in between. So during the live sessions, you will be getting the updates on the surprises. And then on post that, we are pretty much open with any questions. So I'll try to give you at least 10-15 minutes if you have any questions on career guidance or more like an Ask Me Anything platform. So that's pretty much the agenda. And we have been talking about these parts. So where we're going to be doing all these things. So one live project solving, surprises, and the Ask Me Anything career guidance. So any questions here, guys? And from the orientation perspective, right now, our objective would be to focus on Python. So as I've told you, there are multiple skills. Priority one is going to be my coding. So there are 4 skills technically, guys, which you are supposed to be focusing on when you're starting your career in data science. First is statistics. Second is machine learning. Third is Python. Fourth is SQL. Okay, so these 4 are your mandatory skills which we are supposed to work on and which you're supposed to be good at, right? Where Python and SQL becomes my coding part, where I'm talking about the coding skills, right? So, and definitely many of you might not be from a coding background or a technical background coming from somewhere else. But guys, always take it up front. Yes, coding is mandatory here. We have to be good in coding. By that, I don't mean that you are supposed to be a developer as such. No. But yes, at the same time, I would want you to be a decent coder who can take up the job and get the things done at least, right? So that is something which we need. So in these 2 days, as I've told you, so this is going to be the agenda. In first day, we will be taking up the Python classes. So I'll be giving you the details on specifically one of the data structures, which is very important, list. So I'll go very deep in list. So we'll talk about the attributes of list. We'll talk about the nested list, multiple components of my nested list, some indexing, slicing on top of that. Post that, I'll just quickly open up the data set, which I was talking about, the Mintra.com data set. So I'll be opening up that and I'll be showing you around how you can take the brief sense of my data. So that's going to be my part 1 of the day 1. Day 2, we'll be talking about in detail about those analysis. So once we have the data set and once we have acquired a few of the things from Pandas. So now going in deep, so relational analysis, some bivariate, univariate analysis. So all of those will be part of my in detail analysis on day 2. So that's going to be the part. Don't worry, Yakshit, don't worry. So even if you don't know 1%, I'm still okay with that. So obviously, I mean, nobody can cover everything in 2 days, right? But yes, the intention of these 2 days workshop is to give you an overview of how you can take up the things and how deep you have to go, and obviously giving you a layout of things and how does it work, right? So don't worry about that. So I'll try to take it from the basic. So let's get started. So let's get pretty much started in the technical discussion. So as I've said, I will be focusing on Python today on day 1. So Python will be my prime thing. And we'll be starting with the data structures, which is list and tuples. So in Python, we have multiple data structures. We talk about list and tuples. We talk about dictionaries. We have set. Then there are other things as well. So we talk about loopings, for loop, while loop, if else, enumerate. And then we have conditional statements. So a lot of other things are there. Lambda functions, some interesting things are coming up. But for this, keeping it short for the agenda, we'll be focusing with the data structures in Python and primarily into list and tuples on day 1. And then we'll be taking some of the example statements as well. Okay. So let me share my screen. I've prepared a slide, more like a notebook for us. So where we can pretty much take up the things from list and tuples perspective. Just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen again. Yes, give me a heads up if you are able to see my screen, data science workshop screen. Is everybody able to see my data science workshop notebook? Is it visible with everybody? Yes? Okay. That's wonderful, guys. Great. So now what are we supposed to do here in the data science workshop? The most important thing, as I told you, we'll be starting with the lists and tuples. But even before that, are we comfortable with Jupyter Notebook? Has anyone ever worked on Jupyter Notebooks? Do you know what is Jupyter Notebook and other IDEs available in Python? Anyone can anyone give me few examples of other IDEs available we have? So you might have heard of Spider, VS Code, PyCharm, right? So multiple IDs are available. So everything is completely fine. They both have all have their own right. So pros and cons. So Jupyter Notebook is like more of, I would say, the place where you can do your rough work, right? So you can talk about the things from a code perspective, where I'll be running each and every code base one by one. So every line I can run, execute it, right? So one by one execution is pretty much possible in the my Jupyter Notebook. So that's the best part of Jupyter Notebook. More handy and easy way, actually, right? So let's get started. So as I've told you, in Python, we have multiple data types. So first is definitely list and tuples. So list and tuples, I'll talk about that. And then we have set, then we have dictionaries, right? So all of them are pretty much important, and definitely all of them need their respective separate attentions, but keeping the time constraint. So we'll be focusing on list and tuples, and we'll be going deep in the nested list, which is pretty much a heated up topic. And we know that people get confused in the nested list, so list within the list, and then eventually how the indexing works on top of that. Okay. So to start with, both list and tuples are the collection objects, guys. Collection objects, what do I mean by that? So we have the things where we're going to talk about how can I add up multiple data types, multiple values in a single collection object, right? And then obviously list and tuples have their own respective attributes, characteristics, or specifications, which we're going to take up one by one. So the two things which is very, very, very important and distinctive between list and tuples. So they both are almost identical in terms of characteristics and properties, except two things. First, the denotion of list is always used using a square bracket, and the denotion of tuples are always use a parenthesis. That's the one difference which we have to take care of mind. Second is the tuples are immutable. Once the tuple is created, it cannot be edited. But on the other hand, we'll see that list can be pretty much edited. I can add the element, delete the element, change the values. Everything is pretty much possible, right? So we'll talk about that. No, so array and list name are not same. So they are different. So they have their own properties, by the way. Any data type can be stored. Yes, yes. So all of these can be stored. You can have a variable name and then you can pretty much store it. We'll see that. Okay. So we'll see that. So first thing first, how to define a list? Simple. I'm going to denote a variable A. Okay. And variable A now, as I've said, list is denoted by a square bracket, right? And in this square bracket, within the square bracket, I can have anything 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and I have say A, B, C. I have what I have again D, E, F. I can have anything here. And then once I've stored this variable A here, and we're going to do a print of A, I'll get the elements what I have within this. And obviously, I have 4 elements here, which we can see that. So we can access it also one by one, depending on howsoever is needed. That is also pretty much possible. Certain prime characteristics, which we have to read and understand how it is being developed. First thing first, lists are ordered. Okay. Remember, guys, list is an ordered collection. What do I mean by ordered? Every single element has a location ID here. For example, I know 1, 2, 3, it has is present at my first location. 1 to 1 is present at my second location. ABC is at my third and DEF at my fourth or the last position. Right? So I do have these things 1, 2, 3, 1 to 1, ABC, DEF. So I can pretty much store anything in my list. Okay. And now here, if we're going to talk about, I can pretty much store it. And list items are ordered. So all the elements here are pretty much ordered. Everything has an index assigned to that behind it. We'll see that. Okay. And obviously, once I have an index of this, I can access it also. So the third property which you can see here, list elements, all the list elements what I have here can pretty much be accessed by the index. That's where we're going to study how the concepts of multi-dimension list and multi-list, multi-level indexing, all of these things would come. We'll take care of that. Don't worry. Right? And then here we also saw list can contain any arbitrary objects. What do I mean by that? So that means I can have any data type stored here. It can store a list. It can store a integer value, string value, function, even a list within a list, strings. Everything is pretty much possible. List is very dynamic, very flexible. It can store any arbitrary value. Okay. Also, list can go to any nested depth. So whatsoever my depth is, I can go to that level. That is pretty much possible. So list can go to any arbitrary depth. Lists are mutable. We observed tuples are not mutable. So everything is possible, but we cannot edit the tuples. But here, lists are pretty much mutable. We'll see with examples also. And lists are dynamic. By dynamic, I mean I can shrink, I can expand the list. So if I have say 4 elements here, I can add a 5th element. I can remove another element. So I can pretty much shrink and increase the size, the length of my list. All are pretty much dynamic here. Okay. So let's talk about each of my attributes one by one. Okay. So now look at these two lists: A, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And B, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can anyone tell me, are these two are same list A and B, or these are different lists? Can anyone tell me this? Yes, I have just increased the font. These two are the same list, or they are the different list, guys? Quickly. So I could see a few same, few different, right? So yes, slightly tricky. I could see that, yes, I do have the same elements, 1, 2, 3, 4 in A, and I have 4, 3, 2, 1 in B. So the uniqueness of my elements are same, right? I could see the same elements are there, right? That could create some confusion, but that's where my property of ordered comes. I've told you, every single element has a positional value here, right? So now here in this element A, the list A, the first element is 1, the second element is 2, third is 3, fourth is 4, but in B, the first is 4, second is 3, third is 2, fourth is 1. Even though I have the same elements, but their ordering is different, right? So they are not the same list. They are pretty much a different list. That's where the concept of ordering comes. So the order of my elements is very important. Based on this order, I'm going to define the index of me. So what if I run this and I do A is equal to B? A is equal to B. What do you think should be the output here? If I do A is pretty much equal to B, if I run this, I'll get false. No, A is not equal to B. Right? It is trying to check whether A and B are same. No, it will be giving no. They two are two different lists here. I'll get a false value here, right? Pretty much simple. So these two are two different lists. That's my first property, guys. Ordered. I hope it is clear with everyone, guys. Do raise your voice. Send your doubts in the query. I'm going to address that. So obviously I cannot read everything as I've told you, but try to interact as much as possible. We have a little bit of time in which we can talk. So I'm more than happy to talk rather than just me speaking here. It does not really make sense. So please feel free to type on your text, your comments. I'm reading it up. Okay. Great. Second is arbitrary value. Let's talk about it. Any arbitrary value, we saw that, right? So list is very, very, very flexible. List can have any single thing you can think of, right? It can store integers, numeric, float, what to say, and then we have complex numbers, functions, strings. You can name the thing, you can have it in the list. I'll show you around. Look at this. So now it is a pretty simple list, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming under my A. If I run this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, right? Simple, fantastic. I can have it. There's no problem in that. Yes, anyway, no, it's simple. We can have it. But now, yes, we can have a list of strings as well. That is also possible. The moment I do it, it can create a list of strings as well. Fine, voila. Then yes, I can have a mix match of my elements also. I can have few lists. I can have few strings. I can have few numbers. Pretty much possible here. So if I run this, even this is possible. I have A 32, 34, 35, C. That is also pretty much okay. Now, even I can have from different varying types as well. Can you see this? This is float, this is string, this is integer, this is string, this is a boolean true, and this is a function min. Do you think it is a valid syntax? Can I have it? Will it run or will it give me an error? What do you think, guys? Quickly. This is not list of lists, so this is just the basic list which I'm creating with multiple data types. Yes, it is pretty much a valid thing. Why it won't run? It won't 100% run, right? As I've told you, it is a pretty dynamic thing. It can hold any single thing you can think of, right? So yes, the moment I do is, yes, it is able to identify everything. True is a Boolean operator here. Min is a function is able to identify that. So everything what I can think of, I can add it here. Also, to your surprises, I'm gonna create a new function. So in Python we create a function using a def part. So I've created a random function def. It's a user-defined function ABC in which there's nothing, and I'm just returning the value true here, right? So once I put this ABC, it's a user-defined function ABC. Then I'm importing a library Pandas, for example, right? So this Pandas is nothing but a module available here, right? So I have my library also. I can pretty much add this Pandas and ABC as well here. It can still hold even the libraries. It can still hold even the functions which has been created. So once I run this, even this is valid. Can you see this? Yes, the indexings are different. So the fourth element is max. The fifth element is my library, and then I have my last element as my ABC, which is my user-defined function. I can have that, right? Pretty much possible. I can have the user-defined function, the external libraries. There is no limitations at all. There is no limitations. I can pretty much add any single thing in my list. It is very dynamic. Clear, guys? I hope we are able to understand it. Any doubts, please put up your questions in the chat. Third, and the very important property is we are talking about access by list. Yes, we have pretty much, it is possible to have list of lists. Why not? So I'll show you around. So don't worry. So you'll start scratching your head. And in fact, I'll try to engage with people. So I will ask you questions and you have to answer me that. Okay. So we'll do that. Let me pretty much cover a few of the topics and then we'll get into some problem statements. Okay. So now access by index. As I've told you now, since every single element has an index value to it, right? It's an ordered collection. We have seen that. So once it is an ordered collection, yes, I know that I can have the property where I can store the values, and then eventually on top of that, I can index it as well, right? So now look at this. Once I have this ABCD, now can anyone tell me how can I index the values here? Any idea how can I index the values? Suppose I want to access the first element A. How will I access this? Anybody wants to try? Yes, it is possible to have list of tuples, absolutely. Yes, it is absolutely possible to have duplicates also in the list. So again, suppose if I want to access this value, I can pretty much do that. It is nothing but always when I access something, it is always with a square bracket, guys. Remember that. Any slicing, any indexing operator, it is always with square brackets, right? But remember, in Python, the indexing always starts from 0. So there are two types of indexing. Remember that. Okay. So let me pull up this. Just give me a minute. I think I have. Let me copy this. I think this should help you. Just give me a minute. And this should run fine. I think this should help you to understand things. Okay, I'll just copy this into this folder. Should run fine. Let me zoom this out a bit. Okay, I don't know where did it go. So that's pretty much fine. I think my kernel has died or something. Is it working? Yeah, it is working fine. Okay, so this is my indexes. This is my index. Now there are two ways in which we can do the indexing, guys. Remember. So now we're talking about first is called as forward indexing. Okay, and the second is called as reverse backward indexing. Okay, so I'm sharing you my screen and want to show you. I'm just going to open up a slide deck so that you can understand that. Just I'm sharing my screen again. Just a minute. I'm sharing my slide, so I shall be able to explain it to you. Okay. So now here, what do I mean? So suppose I have a list element which is say, just a minute, which is say A is equal to, I have A, then I have B, then I have C, I have D, and I have E. Okay. First is my forward index. So in the forward index, what happens? The indexing starts from left to right. So I'm going to just put up this thing here. I'm going to remove this. So for the forward indexing, indexing starts from my first character, and this first character in Python is given as the index value 0. So here from left to right is nothing but my forward index. So in the forward index, the first element given as the index value of 0. In Python, indexing always starts from 0, guys. Remember that, okay? So indexing always starts from 0. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So if I have to access, say suppose the second element, which is B, I should be giving A of, so this square bracket is called as A of 1. This will give me the second element or the value as 1. Is it clear? So from left to right, the indexing always starts from 0. Never forget that. It never starts from 1. In Python, indexing always starts from 0. Okay. So the first element is given the index as 0, the second as 1, third as 2, and the likewise else. Okay. This is my first way of creating the indexes. The second way of creating the index is my backward indexing. So now I'm going to talk about from right to left. So I'm talking about going from right to left. So in this case, what happens? The last element is given the index -1. So the last index is given the last value is given the index -1. Then this is -2. Then this is -3. Then this is -4, then this is -5. So yes, from forward, from left to right, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but from right to left, it starts from -1, then likewise going forward in a minus direction, -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So if I have to access, suppose again, this, the second element, I have anyway given A of 1, this is fine. I can also write A of -4. Even this will give me the second element, which is equal to 1. So I can index the values in both the direction. If I want to access any element, I can give a forward indexing or I can give a backward indexing. Pretty much both of them are valid here. Okay. So let's go back to our slide and let's try to understand, let's try to see some experiments. So I'm sharing my same window again. Okay, so now can you see this? So this is my two ways of indexing, forward and backward. Now let's try to see with some examples. So I have my list here, A is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Now, this is my A, I want to index B here, right? So we know we can index with A of 1. If I give A of 1, that means the second element from left. So that should be B. Right? I'll be getting the B here. Also, I know that how can I access B from the reverse index also? So this is -1, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, this is -5. Even if I give A of -5, I'll still get the same answer, which is B. So both the indexes are 100% valid here. Okay, so I hope there is no confusion of any sort here. For the course level details, guys, you will have the surprise, so you'll get to know that. So please be patient. So I won't comment on that, but yes, it should be available with you. So I hope pretty much everybody is comfortable with the indexing part. So forward indexing, reverse indexing is everything is possible here. Okay. The next important thing which we have to understand from the indexing perspective is slicing. So now there's a concept of slicing. Slicing takes the three arguments. So we have the list operator, suppose A. It takes 3, 1. So I'm going to talk about a start index, and then I'm going to talk about a stop index. Then I'm going to talk about the step, which is my hopping size. So what it is, we'll just see that. Suppose this is my list A, right? Now, the positional indexing, which is A, B, C, D, E, right? So, yeah, I mean, it is for free only, man. Come on. So, you're anyway attending that. So, don't worry. Right. So, yeah, so slicing, right? So, slicing, when I say now for the positional indexing, if I give A of 0, I'll get only a single value, right? But there could be a cases when I don't want a single value. I need multiple values, right? What if I want this B, C, D to be taken together, or I want this B, D, and F taken together? So I can have any combinations of such indexes being happening, right? So I can have that. So how can I get it? Right? So I can have the combinations, I can have those slicer indexing ranges also possible. So how can I get it? So that is pretty much possible with this start, stop, and step. Now, how does that work? Suppose I give A square brackets, my indexing operator, and then I'm going to start from, say, second index. Okay, fine. I'm going to start from my second index, which is 1. So second value is 1, right? So second index is 1. And then colon, I want till E, for example. So I want B, C, D, E, correct? So this is my 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So I can give 1 till 4. Okay, I can give that. I mean, logically this is making sense, right? So starting from 1, I want till 4. And what is my step? Step means, do I need to hop on any value? Do I want to take the alternatives or 2 skips or 3 skips? Or I want every single value from the list, right? So here in this case, suppose if I give step as 1, that means I'm taking B, C, B, index is 1. So 1 plus 1, second index. So I'll get here. Then 2 plus 1, third index, I'll get this. Then 3 plus 1, I'll get E. What if I give step size as 2? That means, so for the first index, which is starting here, 1, then 1 plus 2 is 3, which is D. Then 2 plus 3 is F. So F is not coming in this range. So only B and D will be printed. So for example, let's run this. So if I run this 1, 4, 1 colon 4, 1. So my expectation is it should take the first index and till the fourth index, which is E, and then with the step size of 1. So every single value plus 1 I'm going to take, right? So if I run it like this, oops, can you see this? I expected this 1, 2, 3, and 4 to be there, but can you see this E is missing here? I hope it is pretty much visible to everybody, right? So this E is missing here. The reason to that is the stop index always takes M minus 1, always. So whenever we have any indexing operator, the start will take the start index, but stop will always take M minus 1. Remember this, guys. This is a small trick. Always remember that. Okay. So M minus 1, we're going to do that. So this M minus 1, so this will not be 4. While execution, this will become 1, 3, 1. Okay. It always takes M minus 1. That's the small things what Python does and irritates us, right? So that's pretty much common. So we'll see a lot of these exceptions here and there, right? So we'll try to see most of them. So in this part, But yeah, so this is a small thing which we have in Python. So once we take a slicer object, so in stop, it will just take m minus 1. Okay, so as simple as that. So now it will be not 141, it will be 131 at the time of execution. So that is the reason why this is giving me B, C, and D. Okay. Now let's take some quick example. What if I do instead of 2, 1, 4, and 2? Right. So now we have observed, yes, it will execute till 1, 3. So it will only take B, C, and D. Right. And I'm taking a step size of 2. That means that the first slicer, first index is 1. I'm going to put a plus 2 here. So 1 plus 2 would be the third index, which is my 1 plus 2 is my fourth index, which is this D will be coming up. Plus 2 is F. So F is anyway out of range. It should not come. Now, if I run this 1, 4, 2, I'll get only B and D. So I won't get C in this case. Is it clear? I could see a few questions. Can we use jQuery other than JavaScript in the whole project? What project it is? This is, man, come on, this is Python. This is not Java, okay? Yes, it is jump and skip. Okay, fine. So I hope you're handling this, guys. Okay, fine. So, and again, I could see one of the very interesting question, somebody posted it. So what will happen if I put it like this? I don't give anything. What do you think, guys? What will happen? Shall it give me an error? What will happen if I run this? I don't provide anything. What will happen? No, so only m minus 1, nothing else. So in the slicer of my list, unless and until I run it specifically to find an object, right? So that's a different story. But it will take only m minus 1 in the slicer object for my step. Yeah. So yes, I could see a few good answers. It will print the entire list. Yes. So what will happen in this case? So once I have this colon and not mention anything, so that by default assumes if I don't specify, it'll take the first value. And if I don't give anything here, it take by default end value. And if I don't specify anything here, it'll take step size as 1. So there are certain defaults also. Okay, if I don't give anything, it'll take the first value, it'll take the end value, and it'll take 1. Now again, a quick question here. What if I give it like this? So yes, we'll quickly see that also. So for example, this, can you see everything is getting printed here? Now, what if I give it like this? What shall be printed here, guys? Colon 3 colon. All element, okay, step of 3, what? So only somebody is saying A. 131. Okay, ABC, somebody is saying ABC. Okay, so just to tell you, yes, as I've told you, whatever is not available, that'll be defaulted. So this first value is not available. So this will take my first value index, which is not 1, it is 0. Come on, guys, it is not 1, it is 0. Okay, so by default, if I default it to first value, that will be 0th index, not 1. Okay, so you remember in Python, first value index is 0. Okay, now I'm not specifying anything in my step, so by default it is 1. Right, so this is how the execution will happen. If I won't specify this and this, so it will take 0 and this will be taken as 1. So once I do this 0 colon 3 comma 1, we always know that it will never be taken as 3. It will always be taken as m minus 1. So this will be executed as 0 to 1. But let's run this 0, 3, 1. You see this A, B, and C because third index is D, right? And third index is D cannot be taken because it will always take m minus 1. So C will be printed till A, B, and C. Okay? Here, guys. Wonderful. So I hope you are getting the sense of things, right? And that's making sense as well to you. So that's perfectly good. So now I'm gonna call Nitish back, and maybe he can give us the surprise. What we have waited for? Please, Nitish, you can take over.
Yeah, hey Arpit, I guess. Hello everyone, I'm back again. I hope your workshop and the amazing session is going well. Few of you ask particularly whether this session or particularly workshop is free or not. Guys, come on, I guess it's free. That's why you are attending it. We did not charge anything from you yet, or neither we are going to charge today or tomorrow for workshop. We are not going to charge. But yeah, there is one surprise for you all. Many of you requested related to sir, where exactly your data science course, where exactly it is. Data science course gaya kaha? We are unable to see that course from the last 1 month. So earlier, Arpit, taking classes with us for the live sessions, and we got so many requests from students, so many requests because many of the students are from third year and fourth year. Those who are more interested, and some of the working professional, they are more interested into the data science domain. They want to explore how exactly this domain and look like. So we come up with a plan with we totally stop the data science enrollments and everything for 1 month. We revamp all those things, and now we come up with a plan name called complete data science course, which includes currently 5 phases. I have comment the link particularly in chat also, and you can find this link on YouTube description, the first comment. So what exactly in that course? So particularly there are 4 advantages you will be getting in that. The very first thing, now you are getting a session from Arpit, which is free but limited till tomorrow. Till today itself. To be very honest, if I say very precise, but maybe if you want to continue in a long run, you want to get details, each and every topic, so you will be having that sessions with you. We have 17 weeks of course. 5 phases are done yet, and many more to come in the pipeline, as data science is a big domain. So we will revamp things according time. So currently we launch this course for 5 in the run for 5 phases. So first of all, it's open only and only for the workshop users. The very first thing is this, which I wanted to tell you all. And if I tell about everything, you can go on the website, check about everything, register, and if you have any queries, just register. We will get back to you today or tomorrow. So how exactly the course look like? I will give you a glance for that, so that you can see how exactly the course look like. So this particularly is our data science program. Earlier we have this course at let's suppose, okay, coming to the price, some people say okay, price come later on, but let's start with the starting one. So earlier we have this course as 12,000 rupees, but we revamped all those things and launched this course at 5,000 only, and only for the workshop users. Then we increase the prices for all the other audience. So first cohort will be for 50 students. We will create WhatsApp group for them, and we'll have placement assistance service. And if you see what you exactly you will learn, there are 5 phases in this part. If I tell about the instructor, yeah, one of you particularly attending the live currently. So what you need to do, what exactly, if you want to enroll, if you are interested in the course, if you want to the placement assistance service with you, just enroll in the course and go ahead and sign up for the course. That's exactly. And if you have any of the course, any of the doubts, do not make payment particularly, just register for the course. We will get back to you, we'll guide you. Just wait, because to be very honest, it's eventually your decision which needed to be made. I guess that's all about it. If you have any queries, I will not take you too much time. Just go ahead with the workshop, and workshop is free, guys. Okay, that's from my end. Thank you, Arpit. Thank you everyone, and I hope you will enjoy the session.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Nitish. And I hope people have got their responses. So queries regarding when and how to join this course. Great, guys. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Nitish, again. So let's pretty much get started. Right. Yeah. So everything is needed. So let me share back my screen. Okay. So we'll come back to this workshop. Cool. Great. So slicing, clear है? ये all clear है? Clear है ना? समझ में आ रहा है? So basically, this is what do we have? ठीक है? So we have index level things. So we have basic elementary pickups of my objects. Then I can also put up a slicer where I can obviously run some things. Okay. I mean, are you people interested to take some examples, or shall we go to the next topic? I can give you a few questions if you want to try out. Do you want to proceed, or you want to take at least one or two questions? All easy till now. Okay, let me give you one question then. Okay, so let me make sure that you scratch your head. Okay, so I have this A B C D E and F. Okay, now we know that what is my indexing 131. That is pretty simple, right? So now what if I do slicer of say -1, okay, and I do till 3. That's it. Can somebody tell me what is the answer? Quickly, guys. Simple enough, right? It is very easy. Everybody said it's very easy. So now I have just twisted things a bit. We know that we can index it both in the forward and the backward direction. So now what will happen if I do A of -1 till 3? What will happen, guys? Quickly. Be a bit fast so we can take so many questions. FED. So I could see FED, FE, MT. Okay, so I'll just put on the answer. So somebody is saying FED, and then we have FE, MT. Okay, a lot of things are coming up. Wait, okay, FBI secret agent will wait. No problem at all in that. -1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, that's the question. I mean, that's what you have to figure out. FED, BCA. Oh my God. Okay, so we have FED, BCA. Interesting. Okay, so FED, BCA. Okay. Oh, that's surprising. Okay. Then MT, ED. A lot of things are coming up, man. Come on. Okay. Quickly, let's try to understand what are we doing here. First, stop texting, guys. Stop texting. Listen to me first. Okay, what is happening here? Look at this. So I'm saying -1. That means what? -1 क्या है यहाँ पे? -1 is F. Correct? Everybody is comfortable with this. -1 is F. Right? So if I do -1, so -1 मुझे पता है, that is F. Right? And then 3 क्या है? 3 is what? -1 is my backward indexing. 3 is my forward indexing. So forward indexing is what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 is basically D. Right? 3 is D. So I'm saying from F, I want till D. Correct? That's basically I want from F, I want till D. Correct? But did you remember this? I told you the moment I don't write anything here, it takes a default. And what is that default? In the step, it is +1. Correct? The default is +1. You remember that, right? That means that what I'm saying, hey dude, start from here, right? You have to go till the third index, but you are a smart guy. So take a forward step. So from F, you go here, things which is ahead, not backwards. But surprisingly, D is not in the forward, D is in the backward direction. Right? So this default of 1, it will make sure that it searches ahead of F, not before. So the moment I run this, which is -1 to 3, it is technically not going to give me anything. Because this -1 is F and third index is D, it will not be able to find it. It is not ahead, it is behind. Right? So default step of 1 will not work here. Do you think this will work? -1, 3 step of -1. What shall be the answer here now? Now things are not that easy, right? Oh my God, sir is irritating me now. It's not that easy. Come on, man. So what do you think? What is the answer here? FE? So, okay, first of all, yes, -1 is this, third index is D. This is pretty much valid. Yes, this is pretty much valid. Yes, why not? Yes, this is valid syntax because now I'm saying that go in the backward direction, dude, not go in the front direction. So backward is F, Now minus 1, then minus 1. Yes, now it will be able to find out 3, which is D. Yes, this is a valid sequence. But again, remember, it will always take the M minus 1. So, although I have D here, but it will take what? So, the step size is minus 1. So, it will take not C, it will take till E. So, although we'll take M minus 1 is 3 minus 1, so you might be considering 2 here. So, it should have taken till C. No. My step size is minus 1. So, this is not M minus 1. It will become M plus 1. So, just opposite of that thing. Okay. Few rules. Right. It is not that easy. Okay. So, yes, the moment I'm going to do a step of minus 1, it will not be M minus 1. It will be M plus 1. Okay, so in this case, it will be 3 plus 1, which is 4. So that is the reason why only FE would come here. Okay, tricky. Need one more question? Shall I give it? Or okay, let's take one more last question. Then I won't trouble you. Okay. Okay. So now everybody is aware what will happen here. 0:3, right? You are comfortable to this, right? Nobody is having any doubt. Now, in fact, let's put it to 4, and then I put it here minus 2. Can somebody tell me what is the answer here? So look at the question, colon of 4, then colon minus 2. What is the answer here, guys? Quickly. ABC, so I could see an answer here, ABC. Empty, okay, I could see ECA, okay, I could see multiple answers, man. So I could see ECA doesn't work, CDB, oh my god, multiple answers, ABDF, no output. यार, I mean, KBC में भी 4 ऑप्शन होते हैं, guys. ये तो 4 से भी ज़्यादा हो गए. Okay, so guys, come on. Can't go backward after forward. So आप लोगों ने क्या सोचा? अभी ये by default क्या करेगा? I don't have any default here, so it should take 0. Right? सबने ही सोचा. So it should take 0. So 0 to 4 minus 2. So अभी forward, I'm going from left to right, but indexing में step में I have given minus 2. Right? So technically, yes, if I would have run this, yes, this will give me an empty thing. If this is the thing, because I'm going from left to right and step is minus 2. But मैंने ये तो नहीं बोला आपको. Now look at this. Can you see this? It is still giving me the result. But how? Why God is doing this to me? What will happen here in this case? Now the default will not be 0 in this case. The moment I'm going to put a reversal here, I'm going to put a step of minus, which is in the backward direction. The default will not be 0. Default will be the first value from the end. Now this will get defaulted to minus 1 by default. Okay. Again, an edge condition. The moment I don't have anything here, but I put a negative in my step size, it is going to take minus 1 as my start index. Okay. Now this will make sense. If I have minus 1 here, and then if I have 4, which is still E, right? So obviously 4 plus 1. So in the reverse direction is 4 plus 1. So I only have this value in this range. So whatever I'll take minus 2, minus 3 does not really make sense. So this will only give me the last value, which is F. Is it clear with everybody? Clear, guys? Getting it? Maza aa raha hai? So obviously, we have a lot of these edge conditions. I obviously cannot cover everything in this session, but I hope you are able to get what we have in Python, right? So these basic things will actually build up the base for your data analysis, right? So we'll have to make sure that you know these basic concepts, and very, very, very important. Okay. So chalo, let's proceed. So now I won't waste time here. Let's go to a again very important topic, which is my nested list. Very, very, very important topic, guys. So now quickly, can somebody see this fancy list, man? Come on. So can somebody see this? I mean, this looks like a very fancy list. Can somebody tell me what is the length of x? By the way, length of x is nothing but the number of elements I have in the x. So I have this a, for example, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements here, right? So if I put it like this, length of a, it'll give me 6. So it's like a number of elements I have, right? So what will happen if I do here? So look at this x carefully, guys. What will happen if I do length of x? What is the answer here? 5, 3. Guys, quickly, come on, answer it. 5. I can see a lot of people answering 5. Okay, that means that you are smart people. Okay, so yes, obviously, guys, it is having 5 elements. Look at this. So this is my first element, and now here this open list started and it is ending here. Can somebody see this? So this entire element is my second element. Entire whatever I have in this list I have it is in the second element. So this is my second element. Third is G. Fourth is again this list, nested list, and then the fifth element is J. So the length of X here is 5. That's great. Everybody got it. So people who got 3, 4, I hope you are able to get the sense now, right? So this is basically 5. I don't have 3 or 4 here. It's basically 5 elements, right? So now can somebody tell me, if I have to access this II, for example, if I want to print this II, how can I get that? How can I access this element II, which is within the fourth element actually? How can I access that? Quickly, guys, can somebody tell me? X of 3 of 1. So now there's a concept of the nested looping, right? So now let's understand, okay? So let's understand. What did I say? I want to access this II. So how will I access this II? First of all, this II is present under this element, right? So which is my parent element, right? So this is nothing but X of 3. So this is my 0, this is my 1, this is my 2, and this is my 3, correct? So this X of 3 is nothing but my HH and II, correct? So X of 3 is my HH and II. So on this X of 3, again, look at this. It is again a list, right? So whenever there is a value, I can just keep on adding the indexing on top of that. So the next level of indexing will be a new square bracket. So it is not like X of 3 of 1. No, it will be a new square bracket. So where now if I have to access this element 1, so this is a list X of 3, and in that list I'm accessing II. So this will be X of 3 of 1. Now this will give me the element II. Yes, I could see some backward indexing as well from some few people. Yes, absolutely. The next is, we talked about the backward indexing. So how can I do it in the backward indexing? So this is my second last element, right? So last element is J, and this entire thing is my second last element. So instead of 3, I can also write X of minus 2. X of minus 2 will also give me the same thing, HH and II. And in that, I want again the last element. So X of minus 2, again a new square bracket. It is not like this. It is not like this and then minus 1. No, this is also wrong. Okay, it's a separate square bracket, guys. Look at the syntax. Okay, it's a separate new bracket. So X of minus 2, then minus 1. So this is again II. It's a 2-dimensional matrix. Very well said. Yes. So X of minus 2 minus 1, or X of minus 2 1, X of 3 of minus 1, or X of 3 of 1, all of things are same, and so on. So everything is same, right? So all will give you the same result. There's no problem at all in that. Cool. So I guess now please tell me the syntax of accessing this CCC. I want to access this element CCC. Quickly tell me that. Come on, guys, quickly. How will I get the element CCC? Anyone? Right, so I could see some answers. So 1 of 1 of 0, easy, yeah. So pretty simple. So this is nothing but my first element, right? So this x of 1 is my first element, which is this, right? Which I'm getting here. Now again inside, this is a list again, and CCC is pretty much present under my this element. So again, this is going to be 1. Then I'll be able to access this list, which is this. And inside this, again, this is a list. So again, I can add a third level of indexing, which is 0 here. I'll get CCC, pretty simple. Okay. Again, looking very simple. Let's do some tricky questions. Shall we do that? So let me show you something very interesting. So I have this A here, which is A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? Then tell me what will happen if I do it like this, colon, colon, minus 1. What will happen? Reverse the list. Parag, I think I do remember you from somewhere. Great. So I think most of us are telling the same thing, right? So what will happen here in this case? It is more like a reverse of my list, right? Now, how it is reversing? Because I'm putting minus 1, it will take default as minus 1 here, right? So it will start from this, and by default, this will be my end value. So end is nothing but, now in this case, the last element in the reverse order. That is nothing but minus 6, right? And this is exactly what do I get? The reverse of my list, FEDCB, okay? So basically, colon, colon, minus 1 is giving me the reverse of my string, reverse of my list. FEDCBA, right? Now, let's take few questions. Let's take few questions. Let me show you something. Yeah, let's do this. Now, okay. Now, can somebody tell me what will happen if I do this? Go ahead, guys. What will happen if I do this? What is the answer? Great. I do. That's what I said. Now I do remember your name. Great, great. Okay, good to have you here, Parag. Guys, quickly, what will be the answer here? Not so easy now. It was everything going in a good way. DDD, I could see many people answering DDD, right? So, I mean, smart people again. Okay, so how does it happen? It's a sequential operation, first of all, okay? It's always a sequential operation. So what will happen? It will first take x of 1. And what is x of 1 here? So which is this BB, CCC, DDD, EE, and FF. So this element is my x of 1. Now on top of this, I'm doing colon, colon, minus 1. So this is nothing but reversing of my list. So now this FF would become my first element, right? So FF, EE, CCC, DDD, and BB, right? So this is pretty much fine. Now, on top of this, I'm taking the second element, which is this CCC and DDD, right? Now, if I run this, I have CCC and DDD. Now, again on top of this, I'm doing this reverse operation, which is my DDD would become my first element and CCC would become my last element, correct? Now on top of this, I'm doing this 0, which is taking the first element and will become D. Here, everybody is getting this logic. I should not have anyone asking questions here. Should be comfortable with everybody. Right? Cool, great. So this is fine. Let's go to our next topic. So I can do many such experiments. You just keep on doing at your place, right? So we can just keep on doing such experiments in my nested lists. So only two things which is required to understand in nesting lists, how the indexing works, okay? And then on that indexing, if I have to run some slicer object, so obviously how that will get modified. So we have to take care of that, okay? Cool. So the next important topic, next important concept of my list is mutable. So I've told you that lists are pretty much mutable. So I can do whatever I want on the list, right? So I can modify a single value. So there's nothing but x is equal to A, B, C, D, E, right? What if I get x of -1, which is f here in this case, and x of 2? Now, I can do one thing. So what if I run it like this? So I have this x of -1 right now, which is f, and I put it like this: x of -1 now, this is equal to 20. Yes, a valid sequence. Now if I run it, now this f got replaced with 20. Pretty much mutable. I can edit anything like that, okay? Pretty much possible, I can do that. So likewise, print of x2, as that's completely possible. I can also change the sequences. Now this x is nothing but A, B, C, D, E, and 20, right? Now I say that instead of changing a single value, I can change the entire sequences also. So, but here look at this, I'm saying from 1 till everything. So 1 is this. So from starting from B till the end, till everything, I want this to be replaced with this entire list. But can you see here, I only have 5 elements in this part, only 5 elements. But here I'm trying to insert, looks like say 8, 10 elements. Definitely more than what I have in my original list. Do you think this will run or this will give me an error? I hope you got the question. So originally x, starting from 1 till end, I only have 5 elements, but in place of 5, I'm trying to insert 10 elements. Is it possible? Will it give me error or it will run through? Will run? Yes, it will absolutely run. Now my entire list got modified. So starting from B till the end, everything is gone, and in place of this entire list of elements, now I have this list of elements getting added here. So again, following the property of my dynamic nature, the mutable nature of my list, okay? Very important characteristics. So, okay, now we have certain important functions pretty much coming here. Let me take up this. Yeah, so I think we can skip this for now and we can talk about these two important things, list methods. Okay, so now we have two very important functions, two very important methods available in my list, okay? One is append and the second is extend. So first is append and then we're going to talk about extend subsequently. So these two are very important methods, right? So list which it holds, or appends and extends. So we're going to talk about that. So what does an append do? So let's quickly take an example. So suppose I have this x, which is A and B, okay? And then if I do x dot append, append is an object, by the way, okay? So it's an object of x, and Python is an object-oriented programming. So whatever I have as a function, as an object on top of that data structure, that is going to be added as a dot operator. So dot, and then we can write the function. What do I have here? So that should be x dot append, and that will be whatever I want to append on. So the moment I'm going to do dot append, so this new value will get added up in the parent list. So it will add the element at the end. Yes, very good, guys. So as I do this, I have 10 added at my end. Now let's quickly take some examples. What will happen? Can somebody tell me if I do x dot append? What will happen if I do this? What will be the length of x at the end? So originally now I have x which is a, b and 10. What will happen if I do x dot append list 1, 2, 3, then I do a length of x? What will be the length? Append is function or object, please explain. So append is basically an object of list which is a function in itself. Right? So we have the length of list would become 4 because now this entire list will get added as one single element. Look at this now. Can you see this? So this entire list is getting added as one single element. So 1, 2, 3 is getting added as one single element here. Okay. So the length of x, if I do this, it will be 4, not 6. It will be 4. Okay. It will create a nested list. Yes. Very well said, guys. Very well said. Now, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. So we have done that. We'll see. Yes. So now we have another operator. We'll talk about that also here. So now look at the difference. So we have x like this. So I have A, B, C, 10, 1, 2, 3 now. So now the length of x is 4. Okay. Another operator which I have is basically my extend operator. So what is an extend operator? So extend operator, the same thing. Now suppose I'm going to do extend and then I'm going to pass here, say, what to say, 100, sorry, 100, 200 and 300. And somebody tell me what will happen if I do print length of x here. Anyone? So what will happen in this case? It will break up these elements and add the individual elements in my list. Look at this now. Can you see the difference is once I added this append, this entire object got added as a nested list. Okay. But the moment I did an extend, what did it do? It just expanded the elements one by one, 100, 200, 300. So all the elements got added one by one as an individual singleton object separately. No, it will not delete the last element, Dhananjay. Come on. So I hope it is clear. So on the same object now, I'm adding 100, 200, 300. So I'm adding up the extended object. So all the subsequent pieces of my object is getting added one by one here. Okay, I hope it is clear with people now. So I have another something like this. Suppose I have x is equal to say 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then y is equal to 4, 5. Can somebody tell me what will happen if I do x plus y? Any idea, guys? What will happen if I do x is equal to 1, 2, 3 and y is equal to 4, 5? What will happen? One, two, three, four, five concatenates things. So yes, the output shall be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is exactly the same if I do x dot extend y. Right? If I do x dot extend y, I'll get exactly the same thing, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So now this x is getting extended and x plus y is also giving me the same result. So basically this concatenation method, which is concat method of plus operator, this is equal to extend method. right? Clear, everybody? Yes, absolutely. So plus is also an operator overloading. Yes, absolutely correct. Clear? So this is how the Python operations work in list. So few basic things. Obviously, there are a lot of other things as well. So considering the time constraints, so I won't really go deep in all of these now. Rather, now what I want to do is let's take. So I want you to get introduced to the data set which we are trying to do the analysis on. So today I would show you around the basic functionalities of a Pandas library. So Pandas is one of the libraries which is very commonly used in data analysis jobs. So like Pandas, we have NumPy, we have other 3-4 libraries which are very common. So out of them, Pandas is very useful in your data analysis job. So now I'm going to jump to my Pandas part. So just give you a brief around of Pandas, and then we'll start with loading up of my data, and then we'll see how exactly we can do the basic analysis. And then day 2, which is tomorrow, will be purely dedicated on this data set, and then going in deep of all the level of analysis we can think of. Okay. So cool. Let me now jump to the next exercise for the day, which is actually this. Okay. So I'm gonna clear all the outputs. So first thing first, guys. Now understand. Uh, Pandas, NumPys, or any other libraries, right? So it is purely, what is a library first of all in Python? Library is nothing but set of functions. Okay, some set of functions which is helping you to do your data analysis job easily. Okay, and now these set of functions includes lot of things. Okay, so it's not only one or two. It has like hundreds and hundreds of functions which is designed in such a way to make your job easier. Okay, guys, always keep that in mind. It is not mandatory to remember the functions. आपको याद नहीं करना है ये. Okay, याद करने बैठोगे फिर हम मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स बन जाएंगे. हम मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स नहीं, हम याद नहीं करते, हम समझते हैं. ठीक है. So but no hard feelings to them as well. But here in this case we want to understand that in this part we are trying to first understand what is required. Few things by practice it will come by default anyway. So with practice we'll start remembering it. But now objective is not to remember all the functions. Functions are made to make your job easier, not to trouble you. Okay, and in that in every function there are many arguments also. I'll show you around also that. And also there's no need to remember all those arguments. You just need to see things, okay, and use it as if it comes. Okay, pretty much fine. Don't try to act smart and remember all the functions. कभी याद नहीं होगा, आप उल्टा पागल हो जाओगे कि यार काम करने बैठे हैं, क्या करने बैठे हैं, है ना? So don't try to get into the remembrance of my function. That is not required. Okay. Chalo. But simple thing first, like Pandas, we have many other libraries, right? So now we have to understand how to, first of all, install the libraries, because we know libraries is a set of functions. So it is like a wrapper which has multiple function in it. So how to install my particular library? How do I get that? So simple, we can use a pip install Pandas. Okay. So yes, we can directly run pip install Pandas on notebook also. Just put an exclamation mark in the beginning. So once you do this, it'll run it for you. Okay, I have already installed it, so I'm not running it. But the moment you're going to do pip install Pandas, it'll install Pandas for you. As simple as that. There's nothing fancy there. Okay, so I'm not running it because I already have it. And then how to import Pandas. So once I have this Pandas function, so I'm gonna import Pandas, and then I'm gonna do simple as PD. So I'm aliasing this. So now this Pandas will be referred as PD. So once I've done this, now this Pandas has been installed. Now if I call PD dot and I put a tab, right? So once I put a tab, I'll see list of all the functions which I can run inside my Pandas. These are the list of functions I have inside Pandas. Can everyone see that? Just a PD dot a tab, I can see the list of all the functions which is available under my Pandas. Okay. Yeah. Right now, Yeah, making it short, correct. Yeah. So now we have to understand what is our objective. I'm trying to read up a data. So I already have a CSV file. A data is already present in my CSV file, right? So now I'm just trying to load up this CSV file into my IDE, and we'll try to perform some analysis on top of that. Okay. So this IDE is basically nothing but, now in this case, I have a function called as pd.readCSV. I'll show you around. So once you start typing READ and then put a tab. Now, can you see? I have multiple reader option. I can read a CSV file, read underscore CSV, read underscore Excel, read underscore feather. What is that feather? FWF, GPQ, HDF, HTML. My God, man. It can read literally from any single data source. Okay? Yes, installation is one time thing. Yes, Shim. It's a one time thing. Thank you, Smile, for answering that. Yeah, so once I put dot read and I put a tab, can you see? It can read from any single source. Okay. Now, because I want to read a CSV file, I'll just use pd.readCSV. It's a function. So inside a function, now it accepts certain arguments. But how will I get to know these arguments? How can I put this? I don't know. I'm newbie to Python, right? How will I get it? So now just put your cursor inside the parenthesis like this. It is outside right now. I'm putting my cursor inside a parenthesis and press shift and tab. The moment I put shift and tab, can you see this small documentation opening up here? And can you see a plus button on the right side? If you just put a plus, it'll just give you the history of this function. What all arguments, what all things it takes, you have it in front of you. No need to remember things. Try to be a smart worker. Okay. So here, now can you see it accepts? The first argument it accepts is a file path or a buffer, like a file path, the name of my file or where exactly this file is. Then it tries to look for a separator. Then it has a delimiter. Then it has names, index, use call, squeeze, prefix. Lot of arguments are there. Can you see this? Like, oh my God, 40, 50 arguments are there. Can you remember all of this? Can anyone remember all of this? Can you see the list of arguments it accepts? Right? Nobody can remember all of this. It is purely not possible. So try to be a smart worker. Yes, few of them you'll start remembering it the more you use it oftenly. But at this stage, you're not supposed to remember it. Okay. Now, what do we know? And yes, so whenever we have any documentation, at the end, you will see the definition also of it. For example, now this file path, what is this file path? You can see the documentation. What is this file path? And then we're going to talk about, say, delimiter, right? So separator like SEP. What is this SEP? It is a string class. Default is comma because I'm reading a CSV file. Delimiter to use, right? If there's any specific delimiter, then I have another column called as delimiter, then I have a header, right? So default is infer. So how to get the data set and all that. Names, you can see the definition of all of these individual arguments, right? So do not try to remember it. Yes, few things will remember it by default, but it is not mandatory right now, okay? So likewise, this documentation would come for all the functions, okay? So now, what do we have here? I'm going to read the data set. So I already have a data set, products.csv, okay? So I'm just going to put up here products.csv, the file name, and then I'm going to put header is equal to infer, which is by default. I'm going to read the header file. So the moment I do this, now this df, the data frame is already stored here. I have this CSV file available in my Python. So now how can I see this data? It is as simple as that. One line of code, your data has been read, right? Now this data frame is having your data, having your file here. Can you see this? I'm just moving the font. So now can you see this? So I have this data set df where the first column name is product name. I could see some slim fit casual shirt. Then I have a brand name, green fiber, rating. Then I have the rating count, marked price, discounted price, sizes in which it is available. Then I have a product link. Then I have an image link. Then I have a product tag, which is shirts, brand tag, discount amount, discount percentage, tags, and all that. Can you see multiple columns are there? And I cannot just keep on reading all the data. So the moment we get the data, the moment this data is loaded, there are a couple of few things which we always do, right? So there are few things which we always do. For example, here, this DF, we try to check the shape and size of my data. How many rows, how many columns, right? So Ashish, you're not able to see after tab. So it should be shift and tab. Okay, so just put your cursor inside your this function and do shift and then tab. Keep pressing shift and then press tab. You will get the documentation. Okay. Manish, yes, please go ahead if you have a doubt. Happy to answer that. So now what do we see? First is df dot shape. So shape is the function which is going to give me the number of rows and number of columns I have in my data set. So this is nothing but, if I do it like this, I could see it is returning me a collection object, which is a tuple in this case. There are two elements. The first element is called as my number of rows, and the second element is nothing but my number of columns, right? Because it's a tuple element similar to list, I can pretty much index this as well. If I put of 0, I'll get this. If I put of 1, I'll get this. You see this? Now, can I run a sentence? So can I print it like this? Print, say, my data frame has rows and columns. Just to tell you, I can dynamically add these numbers. I can use a function called as dot format. And this format can take up the dynamic value. So here I want to print df dot shape of 0, and then comma, I want to give df dot shape of 1. The moment I do this, df dot shape of 0 and df dot shape of 1, I'm going to see my data frame has, so which is nothing but this. So this 24324 rows and 17 columns. Is everyone clear with this? Can you get it? So very basic thing, I've just loaded up my data. I'm trying to see around what is my number of rows, number of columns available in my data set. So that is pretty much what my objective is, right? So, and I've done that. So I have the number of rows and number of columns pretty much printed here. Okay. First thing first, now what do we try to see? Because ultimately there are multiple such rows available, right? So multiple such data points. So now we'll check the format, we'll check the data type and all that. Okay, so let me come back to that. So now, then we try to have a glance on my data set. So df.shape, after this, we can use the function called as df.head. Head will give me the top 5 rows. Can you see this? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So top 5 rows. And we'll try to see how the data looks like. So here, if you can see, it looks like a string, more like a text to me. Then I have a brand name. Then I have a rating, which is a number or a float. Then I have a rating count, marked price. Sizes, again, more like multiple thing. It's in a list. Then I have a product link, image link. Then I have tags and all that, right? Fine. So I have this tags. So seller address. I have the meta description, meta keyword, right? So all basically I have pretty much here. Cool. So now, what do I want it from here? So in this part, what do we want? Now we're trying to see from this data set, how can we see some basic descriptors, right? So basic descriptors. Now, after having this head, we want to understand what is the data type of my individual columns I have. So I could see strings, I could see numbers, I could see float, right? So what are my data types? So for that also we have two functions, something called as bf.dtypes. types. Bf.dtypes is the function which is going to list me the column names, all the column names, okay? And from this column names, what is the data type of my column? So product name is an object, which is nothing but a category. So you can see this, it is nothing but a category. Likewise, brand name is again an object, which is again a category for me, right? And then I could see rating is a float, and these all are my int64. Sizes is again an object, int64. Can you see this? So all the data types are pretty much available here. So always it can happen that, for example, this which is a float right now, it could have identified as a object. What if this rating got identified in the Python IDE as object? That can happen, guys. That can happen. Okay. So in that sense, now if I check the D types, I would have seen this rating is given as object. Okay. The moment I see rating as object, that is where the problem is, right? So now, being an analyst, your job is to look out into these results and then understand whether the tagging of my data types is right or not, right? So we'll again, but right now in this case, it is absolutely correct. It's a float 64. There's no changing required. But if you observe that the data types have been identified wrongly, then yes, I would need to recorrect that. Okay. Again, very basic thing. I'm just giving you the very basic way around on this data set. Okay, so just giving you the look and feel. So the detailed analysis is anyway planned for day 2. Again, one more function which I want to cover today is nothing but called as describe. Okay, so I have a 1-point summary graph, 1-point summary function available. So it is nothing but df.describe. So what this describe does, describe function, it gives you a 5-point summary in terms of your data points. So it takes by default the numeric variable. So all the numeric variable, which is rating count, marked price, discounted price, and then from here discounted amount and discounted percent. Can you see this? Only these columns are coming up here. So by default, yes, I can have it for categories also. We'll talk about that later. But if I put a describe function, it'll take the numeric columns by default. And in these numeric columns, I'll get the count of all of them, the mean values, the standard deviation, the minimum value, the maximum value, and the respective quantiles, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, or the median value, or the 75th percentile. So more like a statistical description of my data set. Statistical summary. Yes, absolutely correct. So this is my statistical summary of my data. Okay. Now, obviously, I could see a lot of numbers here, lot of numbers. So how to make sense of all these numbers? That's where we have to dwell deep into the statistics part. We'll see what are these numbers, how it will make sense, right? So we have to, it's not only to run this function. Running this function is very simple. Have I done anything very fancy here? No. I just ran this function df.describe and it gave me the result. Did I manually wrote all these numbers? No. So running of these things is very simple. The functions are very simple, but the main objective is to read out these numbers. Now from this output, what next? What to do next, right? That is where the things will fall into place from statistics. So we'll cover the details in the statistical part when the right time comes, right? So likewise, we can go into n depth and we can try to analyze my individual variables one by one. We can see some cross relational analysis. So one variable interaction with another variable. So a lot of things are there in my analysis. So the detail of which will be covered in the day 2, right? So, but for now, guys, I hope you have understood the basic sense of how to load up a data in my Pandas with the basic function read CSV. Likewise, we have, if the data is in any other format, we can use the respective Pandas function also. That should be pretty much fine. Great, guys. So any questions? I'm open to the questions right now. So this is what technically I wanted to cover. I have few more things, but it will not make sense if I keep on going in that direction. So I'm more than happy to take questions. Please feel free to talk about anything which you want to think of, and any doubts, any clarifications you need. I'm more than happy to answer. Dataset link, you might get it tomorrow, so please wait for some time. Okay, so you might get it tomorrow. So we'll have another detailed session coming up tomorrow. So I think shall be shared by tomorrow. Anything else, guys? Any questions? Anything in general you want to talk about? So please feel free and utilize the time. We can talk about it. So no, this course will not be self-paced. It'll be instructor-led, right? And then it'll be, and then respectively anyway. So the details will be shared by the sales team once you enroll it for it. So I think you will get the details over there. So sessions for tomorrow will start at the same time, 7 p.m. And there is a separate link for that. So it'll be starting tomorrow same time. Aritra. Is PySpark kind of similar like Pandas? No, I won't say similar like Pandas, but PySpark is like Python on big data, Python on Spark, and Spark is the data is the framework for big data. So we use Spark for big data. So PySpark is a Python flavor on Spark on big data. So why data analysis is so important and what data analysis includes? Okay, so data analysis definitely, because if you're doing something on your data, anything on your data, right? So that if you want to do anything on data, you have to understand the data first, right? So understanding the data is very important to take any action, business insights from that, and that is where analysis comes into picture. And there are a lot of things in analysis, so let's be patient. So like there are n number of things inside analysis, so we'll take it in tomorrow's class as well in detail. What are the libraries we are going to learn? So there are certain mandatory 4-5 libraries: NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib, scikit-learn. Then we have something called as OS, and then we'll also be talking about something on web scraping. So a lot of things are there, certain mandatory libraries which we'll be taking care of. Spark in Python, that is PySpark, yes. So how one can find index value on the basis of column value? How one can find index value on the basis of column value? I didn't get your question. So you want to find out what is a column index? This is what you're trying to see that. So we can run a loop and then we can see if the name matches with the column name. We can just pull out the index. So it shall be shared tomorrow. Should be shared by tomorrow. So for this notes link, okay? So because then there are a lot of other things also there in the end. So which will be covered tomorrow. So please be patient. Anything else, guys? Cool. So if we don't have any questions, so I hope it was a fruitful session for everybody, and hope you would have liked it, right? And we have just started, right? So it's we have just started a lot of things, right? And obviously I cannot cover everything in short span of time. And if I keep on saying that, you won't understand at some point of time. So it does not really make sense to me as well, right? So, but I hope you got a sense. So Python is very important, guys. Always remember Python, SQL, Stats, ML, my main primary skills, which we have to be good at. And then now we are looking for other things as well. So once we have finished this, eventually going forward, we'll have other topics as well. So we'll take it as an if once you are part of the course. And then for now, we have introduced you to the basic Python data structure, which is list, talked about few attributes, properties. And then we introduce you to Pandas, which is the way we're going to load up the file. Tomorrow, in tomorrow's live session, we'll go deep in the analysis of my data set and we'll see what are different things which you can capture. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. With this, we're going to wrap up this workshop now and then see you tomorrow at the same time, 7 p.m. Thank you so much, guys. So, no prerequisites, to be honest. Just be as naive as possible, and we'll try to cover everything from our side. Don't worry on that. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I'm ending the broadcast. Thank you. Bye bye.